And they are namely Uswa, Sana.
Hi guys, welcome to another episode of the Something to Say podcast. Today we've got a very special guest onto the podcast, Ussama Arshad, our AM training department. He is a workhorse. He is also a magician because he's been doing wonders for Savvital for so long. He was my first point of contact when I joined the company a year and a half back. And honestly, Sama, you have played a very, very, very pivotal role in my growth. Welcome.
Thank you very much.
How do you feel?
I feel amazing. I've been trying to get on for a while now, and Saad just always shuts me down. It's like the haircut's too weird. You're not wearing formal enough.
Yeah.
But finally, I've checked all the lists and I'm here.
You're here?
Looking forward to having a
That's
good
amazing.
conversation
That's
with you.
amazing. Osama, we're gonna get right into it.
Mhm.
Honestly, I don't want to have a very long introduction and stuff. Give me a brief overview of your background, where you come from, because I know Pakistan is full of diversity and stuff. So I just want you to flex your muscles about the plains of Punjab and let me know where you're from, because I already know we're friends outside the office
Yep.
as well. So give us a quick rundown.
So as you know, I've got diversity in the back. So I was born in Faisalabad in
Right.
Punjab, but being from a military background, my dad was in the Air Force.
Mm-hmm.
So we're sort of domestic roaming children
Yeah.
in the military. So we've been moving around. The longest we stick around is, as you already know, you're a military child yourself.
Yeah.
The longest we stick around in a place is 2 years.
Yes.
And if we're
Maximum.
lucky, 3 years.
Maximum.
So we moved around a lot, Karachi, rural areas, Sargodha,
Yeah.
we were lucky enough to be posted to America for 2 years. That was a good experience.
Mhm.
And then
When was
China,
that?
That was back in 2000 and why am I going to exactly? I'm never going to remember that. I was around 6 or 7 years old.
Roughly. Okay.
So it was very early, but I do remember bits and pieces. But then I did my 7th grade onwards from China,
Yeah.
which was another very unique experience.
Do you know anything in Chinese? Like, do you know Mandarin?
Please don't do that.
Do you know Mandarin?
I did know Mandarin. And
I
let
swear,
that
I know
skill
you
go.
know Mandarin.
I'm not gonna do that.
Don't lie to me, boy.
I'm not gonna do that live. There might be someone Mandarin listening right now, and we're gonna lose them. So let's not do that. But China was a great experience. It was just so unique. The culture, people, the school.
Yep.
That was a good time.
And then from that, your main, I think so, education was in Pakistan, right?
Yes. So
Where did you do your undergrad from?
I did my undergrad from the UK.
Okay. Pakistan. Back to the UK. Okay, perfect.
So Pakistan, because apart from US, China,
Yeah.
We were majority in Pakistan,
Mm-hmm.
and specifically, we would rotate Islamabad, the capital.
Yeah.
So we'd have a post somewhere else. We come back to Islamabad for 2 years. We go back for a year, come back for 2 years. So
Okay.
the most of,
Same.
I'd say, my home is Islamabad, and then when my dad retired,
Yeah.
we made that our permanent home, built our home here.
Perfect.
So Islamabad is where I would say I live in and I'm from.
That's the anchor place
That's
for
the
you
anchor,
guys.
Yes.
Perfect.
So I did my bachelor's from the UK, Leicester.
Mhm.
That was a good experience as well.
Yeah.
And that was a different experience for me. I wasn't a very good student.
Uh-huh. That's hard to believe, honestly. Like you're a very good professional, but I don't know why you'd say you weren't a good student. Like, did you get bad grades, or were you just distracted by everything that was going on in university?
It's interesting. I think the problem was I got good grades, but too easily, and that makes you lazy.
Yeah.
So 7th,
Right.
8th, 9th grade, those aren't tough grades. But if you don't put the work in and you're getting good grades, you feel like that's all you need.
Yeah.
But then when you hit
Makes
that
sense.
10th grade, 11th grade mark, that's where you need to put the work in. But I was just having too much fun. And I don't regret that, honestly.
Are you like very social? Because look, if you've been traveling all around Pakistan and your dad gets posted every year and a half,
Mm.
you've subconsciously built skill sets that are very important to surviving in society. So that's basically making friends, making rapport with people. Would you say you're very social?
I'd say there's been a shift in that. I was very social throughout my life because you're not sticking around anywhere. You're meeting new people, so you have to be.
Yeah.
And you make new friends and everything. But university and maybe a few years before university, I sort of settled into a group. One of which you've had a very good conversation with recently, Hamas. So I have a core group, and when I found those people, I understood that I don't really need more friends after that. And then I started enjoying, myself. I started enjoying time with myself, and then that became important for me. I couldn't manage many different social circles and still make time for myself.
I think it gets a bit, it just wears you down, very draining when you have to constantly be someone else that you're not.
And then you're not putting in, if you're going to put something into the friendship, then I need to be putting back the same energy.
Yeah.
But if I have to work towards that, if I have to create time for that, I don't want to do that.
Low maintenance friends, basically.
Yes.
All right.
So I'd say I was social, I still am, but I do enjoy my me time. I do need to spend time with myself as well.
That's very healthy.
Circling back to university.
Yes, sir.
So Leicester, great experience, but the priority there was studying because I had a scholarship, and that scholarship had a requirement that I had to have.
Let's go. Let's go.
Okay. But I had to maintain a certain GPA.
What was that?
That was above 3.
Did you maintain that?
Yes.
Okay.
But that was a lot of work.
Yeah. Okay.
And so since my priorities changed, I never thought that I'd be the person who spent free time in the library and had study groups and found the social group that would help me with my studies and things of that sort.
It's very cool.
So that was a very new experience for me. That was something that was never a priority in my life. So I did my bachelor's in the UK, yes. That was.
And then after that, you started working right off the bat, or did you have a gap year or something? Did you do your?
I had my gap year before I went to the UK.
Okay.
Did a few internships in there, but nothing.
Anything notable? Anything that you want to talk
about?
Nothing
too significant. Mostly spent time with family and looked for the best opportunities for a bachelor's.
Talking about best opportunities. After your bachelor's, so you've done a couple of internships, you're in the job market. Do you end up at Savvital right after that, or is there like a place that you were before?
So when I came back, when I did my bachelor's, that was the time when your visa expires the day you graduate.
Yes.
So you come straight back to home. And spending that much time away from home, that created a surge in my patriotism.
Okay.
So the first thing I did when I got back was the priority was to do something for my country.
Okay.
Do something that'll bring change. I was young. I had that energy. I was motivated.
Makes sense. Plus, you had a military background, so that patriotism was already on a high.
Absolutely. So civil services came up, and so that was something that I wanted to do. I spent a good 6 months preparing for that, and talking about why my priorities shifted from that would be a very, very long conversation, so let's not have that.
God, do we have the time for that? We don't have the time for that, guys. He's saying cut it out. So
I've had these conversations with these people, so they know how long I can go for. But between that and even during my studies, the core group of friends that I talked about, we always discussed a certain project, and we wanted to give a shot at entrepreneurship. That was always a goal for us. So what we did was, between the CSS studies, we started building a business plan regarding a startup that we did called Zaria.
Zaria?
Zaria, which translates into medium.
Medium.
Yes.
Okay.
So linking bridge or medium.
From point A to point B, all right, Zaria. That's Urdu for
the word the medium.
Okay. And what was the business model? What was the industry that you guys were operating?
I'm gonna do my best to be as concise as I can.
100%.
So please bear with me, Sat. But what we were trying to do was link farmers who are an integral community for for our
Country.
country.
Yeah. Pakistan.
Agriculture is an important part of our economy and
Yep.
everything, but
Yep.
that social circle, that group, that sector of our population,
Segment, yeah.
they're struggling.
Yes.
And we owe them so much, but they're still struggling. So what we wanted to do was sort of boost them up. And the idea was, and this is back in 2018, I want to say 2018, 2019,
All right.
where we started planning for it and started executing it, making trips. The plan was to link those farmers, excuse me, link those farmers directly to markets where they can profit more. So what happens now is they're very limited to which markets they can participate in. What we wanted to do was give them the services where they can take their goods, take their product, and take them to the city markets where the margins are higher.
Basically, they get more money at the end of the day. They're able to live a better quality of life.
Absolutely.
All right.
So that was the whole model, and the first thing we started doing was creating relationships with farmers. We went on field trips. We, sat down with village elders. That was again.
That must have been a very
It was
fun.
the whole. I still say to this day that the whole experience was life changing for me.
Yeah.
Because again, we were at that age where you want to give it your all.
Yes.
You're motivated. You're focused. You have all that energy, and also it's so satisfying because the first paycheck I got out of that is still the most satisfying
it felt
paycheck I got.
euphoric to such an
Yes.
extent that you still can't replace it,
Absolutely.
even if you got $1 million. Maybe $1 million might just come close. I don't know.
But
But-
it doesn't even have to be $1 million. Like satisfying is one thing, but fulfilling is still important. But that was super satisfying because that's creating something out of nothing, creating value for ourselves, and then we knew that we were changing people's lives along the way. We weren't able to reach a lot of people. COVID hit in the middle of that. I know COVID impacted a lot of people.
And you were also doing something that was way bigger than yourself.
Yes.
So it must have felt very fulfilling knowing that you're on the journey of trying to help people who aren't maybe in the same position, or they haven't been dealt the same cards in life.
Absolutely.
So that's pretty cool. And then after Zaria, COVID hits.
Yeah. So COVID hits during Zaria. We were hitting our stride. We were doing well. We finally hit break even, which was a big day for us. And then COVID hit. And then COVID not only hit, but it hit us.
Really bad. Yeah.
It not only because
Came in like a wrecking ball.
absolutely. And my dad was still serving at that time.
Yeah.
So we lived in the air headquarters in Islamabad.
All right.
And if there's a lockdown, military lockdowns
you can't
are
come out.
×4.
Yeah, you can't come out.
So I was completely locked out of the office, completely locked and remote. What am I gonna do? Call up, Zoom up farmers. I can't do that. So that put a damper on things, and then I got hit by COVID myself, and that was pretty bad.
Yeah.
But I was quarantined for 6 months.
For 6
months.
months.
The country was free, but we were still trapped.
And all right, after that quarantine, the first day, I know we're going a bit off topic
Yes.
because we're supposed to talk about Savvital and everything, but this is very interesting. The first day that you come out of quarantine, what's the first thing that you do?
So before that, another more interesting thing is when quarantine was lifted throughout the country, throughout the city,
Yeah.
but we were still in quarantine. What we would do is the core group of friends that I talked about. There's this gate in air headquarters, and then there's like 10 to 12 feet between it, and then there's another gate. And I would stand there, and my friends would all be in a group standing there, and we just look at each other. So the first thing I did was obviously I went straight to my family, my friends,
obviously.
and just did as much because we decided to sort of put a pause on Zaria in the middle of all of that.
You had to, obviously.
And Zaria, while satisfying, while everything, it was draining. It was hard work. So getting a release from that, even though it was sad in itself, but it was also
Liberating as well, slightly.
yes, because we finally had time. We were working 4 to 4.
Yeah. So when it comes to entrepreneurship and having your own business,
Yep.
generally, so this is something that we like really understand at Savvital. I was a business owner at one point in my life as well, so I know it's like a baby, and then
Yep.
you have to tend to it and tend to every single need. There is no timing. There
Absolutely.
is no one job description that you're just gonna go and work on these things. When you own a business, you have to worry about so many different things.
Yep.
And the best way to be able to actually grow the business is outsourcing things that you shouldn't be investing so much time in because it's not generating you revenue or stuff like that.
And that's hard to do because it's your baby. You
Yeah.
want to control as much
Yes.
as you can because you don't want to
Yeah.
compromise on quality.
But if you knew that there was someone out there or there was a group of people out there who are super like trained, they're vetted,
Yep.
they've also been a business owner, so they would completely relate to exactly what your feelings would be.
Absolutely.
So then you know, it would be a bit of a no-brainer for you to actually save your time, which is actually more valuable than getting.
Looking back at my experience, we could have done with more business acumen. We could have done with more money.
Yeah.
But we could have done with more business acumen. And part of that is delegating is a skill.
Yes.
It's a smart business decision. And had we done that, we would have been freed up more to create more processes.
Yeah.
Maybe that COVID wouldn't have hit us that bad.
And you don't burn yourself out in the
Absolutely.
process as well. So
Because we're the ones who are driving the organization, right? We're the ones who are setting the pace. If we're stuck
Yes.
having those nitty-gritty meetings then,
yes,
and having those nitty-gritty tasks, then
got it. And who's your first point of contact in Savvital when you joined this company? Was that right after? Like, so just
Yes, so-
skip to that part.
that's a cue.
Please,
That's our first cue. So funny story there.
That sounded way more aggressive than it should have. I'm sorry.
and that had no impact because funny story there. I had COVID, and I was talking about that 12 feet.
Yeah.
thing. Somehow Hamis caught my COVID. Hamis is the CS lead
From
for
12 feet
Savvital.
away?
I have no idea how this works.
Okay.
Actually, we did cheat a little bit. They sort of came in as well. Yeah, I didn't want to admit that on camera, but anyway.
I hope your dad watches this podcast.
He knows.
He knows, alright.
I've dealt with it. we moved faster. So I hadn't joined Savvital at this point. Hamis was it was his first week, second week, and I gave him COVID.
Yeah.
He came to the office. He gave everyone in the office COVID. Savvital shut down for 2 to 3 weeks.
Things that you won't find on the internet.
Everyone had COVID, and I was the originator of that COVID. So I've got very strong germs.
You've come full circle, haven't you?
Yes. So when everyone recovered from COVID, I recovered from my COVID. Everyone recovered from my COVID. So Hamis was the one who referred me because after the quarantine was lifted, I obviously wanted to because again after Zaria we understood that we need more corporate experience, and that's what I wanted to do. I wanted to lock myself into a job, get some corporate exposure.
Give yourself that exposure, all of that stuff. Right.
Learn some things that I could maybe apply.
Yeah.
So I worked in a bank for a bit, but that wasn't a satisfying experience. So I was still looking for jobs. I joined that company, and then I'm still looking for jobs. And Hamis told me how he's been having an amazing time with Savvital.
Yeah.
And he said, you should come in, you should give an interview. I had a conversation with the recruitment manager, and then I stepped in for the interview.
And this was, so how long has it been since you've been at Savvital? Because I know you've joined way before me.
Coming up to 3 years.
3 years. That's
Almost 3 years, yeah. So I had my interview. Everything went great. The interview itself, all 4 managers were there, which I think was the only time that happened. I don't know why. But we had a great conversation. After we got through all the technical stuff, we still sat for 15 to 20 minutes. We discussed Arsenal.
You're easy to talk to. Honestly, you're very easy to talk to.
Thank you very much. So, that's not always a compliment, especially in the workplace.
Genuinely, you're actually very easy to talk to. How many employees did Savvital have at that time? Because I know Savvital's was like...
Yeah, I was the 13th employee.
13th employee. All right.
Actually, I was the 14th, but that was the 13th. So I joined with Verda Togir, who's our HR assistant manager.
So all the people that you joined with, so it was the two of you. You're both you've progressed
Yes.
Into managerial roles.
Yes.
So Savvital does pay back.
Mm-hmm.
I think so. You're a testament to that. Arshad, you're also a manager.
Absolutely. That's one of the reasons I stuck around with Savvital. Savvital, when I first joined, I didn't think I would stick around for this long. I thought this was something that I'll take what I need.
It's like transition period.
Yes, yeah. I'll take what I need. I'll gain the skill set. I'll learn what I can, and then I'm out of here. But I just enjoyed myself so much. And the people, again, I mentioned where I've joined with Hamis, one of my very close friend, the managers. It's just such a supportive environment, and the biggest thing is that you feel like you're contributing. I got some of the feelings that I got with Zaria.
Yeah.
Because when we talk about it's your baby and you want to contribute, they
100%.
make you feel that way. 100%. They make you feel like you have ownership here. You know, you take ownership. You want to contribute. And so it's satisfying to work in a place like that.
Are there like any notable achievements that you had while working for someone, like for a client or something? Like,
so the journey then. I did join as a client associate.
Yeah.
And I worked with Shane Paskey out of Minnesota. He runs an insurance agency. And that was, again, Shane was an amazing guy. He was fun to talk to, and he gave me so many opportunities to learn. We started off with remarketing, reshopping, but then I started handling everything for him. We progressed from reshopping to servicing to his organizational structures, his processes, automating those, creating processes for those, creating workflows.
Once he started to actually realize the value that you were giving to him, he just started delegating way more.
And that started with me he wanted recodes. That was all he wanted, was just help with his remarkets.
Yeah.
But I wasn't happy with that. I said, so what I would do is I wouldn't ask. I stopped asking and I started doing. And what I would get done with the task that I was assigned, and then I'd have time to fiddle around with the accesses that he's given me, and I'd create processes out of those, and some of those would be efficient, some of those would be useful, and then those would be implemented. And so the trust started being built up from there, and then he gave me more resources to explore. I learned a lot from Shane. I do owe a lot to Shane, and we had a great relationship.
Ussama, what you were doing basically was you were being very proactive. You had bandwidth. I know this is something that other employees here can take. They can take a leaf out of your book and really understand that you have to basically go that step forward and provide value so that you're actually sought after. You're an asset for other people. What's something else that you would recommend to an employee who has the bandwidth to actually give value to your clients and stuff?
So we've been lucky in this regard. We've built a team of some very talented and impressive people, and so they're already doing all of this. And it's sort of is my job as well to sort of guide them into doing this.
Yeah.
But
how's it your job? So you're not in. I know this.
So that's a good transition.
You're not a client associate service. Client services associate. Yeah. Client service. So you're not a client service associate.
I don't work with Shane anymore. Yeah, so I don't work with Shane anymore. Okay. I work with the training department.
All right. Let me bring everyone up to speed. He doesn't work with the training department. He owns the training department. He is an AM in the training department. He set that stuff up.
Let me step in. So if we're giving ownership to the training department, if we're giving credit, let's give it where it's due, and that's to the amazingly talented person who's Neha Afzal, the person who built it from scratch.
Yes.
The person who handled it alone. We've got a team now, but everything that we work towards, everything was set up by her.
That's amazing. What did the transition look like? Did you like just did Shane leave, or did you ask to be placed in the training department?
So no, what happened was I wanted to transition because I had an interest. My bachelor's was in HR,
Okay.
and I majored in learning and development. So I was always interested in coaching and training. And luckily enough, my desk was right behind Neha Afzal's desk, who was the only training, basically the department, the one person department. And what I would do is I would finish up Shane's tasks. Shane was great at giving me autonomy. So he'd give me what he needed me to do. I'd do that. I'd do everything else that I could come up with. And if I still had time, I'd turn around and start bugging Neha. Like, give me something to do. I want to help. Because, again, she's running this whole department. One woman army. And she's running the department. And it's something that I could see myself being interested in. So I just turned around to whatever I can help with. And it went to a point, she started giving me the opportunity. I owe a lot to her. She gave me the opportunity to show how I can bring value. And whatever I did was, I guess, in some way helpful, because then that transition sort of started to happen. Shane was still there. It sort of did become crazy at that point, because there's 2 full-time roles then. And what I was doing was, in secret, what I would do is I'd handle training. I'd be apparently free in the office, available for Neha to utilize me however she wants. And then as soon as I got home after the shift, I'd boot up the laptop and finish up Shane's tasks. That's not something I recommend. Absolutely not. That's absolutely not allowed.
Don't do that, guys.
Please don't do that. Sat. Cut it. But that's how much I wanted to be part of I wanted to contribute in that way. And then Neha gave me the opportunity. My manager at that time was Uzair Ali. Hopefully you'll get to meet him on these podcasts. He's a very interesting person to talk to. But he sort of pushed me towards that. The mindset that Savvital sort of has is create the position, and then the opportunity will present
itself. Give the value up front.
So if I'm already working as a training executive or as a training specialist, and then I ask for it, that it's a no-brainer. It's a no-brainer. So that's what I did. And then that transition happened, and I took both roles together for a while. I think about 3-4 months I survived. But then the workload caught up with me.
Ussama, what exactly does the training department do? Like, I know they're doing a lot of stuff. They're responsible for a lot of different things. But in a nutshell, and give me like a list of maybe 2 or 3 things that the training department has to do and is responsible for.
So I'll talk about the most significant ones. We need to ensure at Savvital, we need to ensure that the person that we're onboarding with a client, they're a perfect fit, there's synergy there, and then they are given enough resources, enough training, enough preparation to start bringing value as soon as they're onboarded. So they never have to play catch up. That's the first thing. So what we do is we recruit employees, onboard them, and then they go through an extensive training program. And that not only it covers client management, it covers remote work, it covers everything basically that they need to know, that they need to.
So that they hit the ground running. They don't have, the client doesn't have to go through the, all that. What's the word for khwari? Effort. The client doesn't have to go through all that effort, and they don't have to basically do that.
Yes.
You guys, Savvital does that upfront.
Yes.
That's part of the
what we want is for the person we're proposing, you select to be as qualified as the next person you see in interviews you're holding on site. So they get exposure to, for example, let's take insurance. If we're talking about insurance industry, they'll understand what insurance is, how it works in America, what the rules and regulations are like, what the coverages are like, what the trends are like, so that when they sit in an interview with an insurance agency, they understand what the insurance agency needs, what they want. And then the client just needs to bring them up to speed with the agency specific processes.
Okay.
They'll know what a quote is. They'll know the basic process of how to do a quote. All you need to do is tell them, I like it that way.
And I need it to be done and
In
delegated
a specific.
ASAP.
And that's it.
Perfect. And since we're on this topic, what are some things that clients can basically do to actually give work to whoever they onboard into their team?
So the first thing we recommend is to, you know, audit your own work. Figure out what, if taken off your plate, would give you the most time to do what you need to do for the business.
Okay.
We don't want you to be working on quotes.
Yeah.
Because that's something that can easily be delegated.
Yeah, 100%.
We don't want you to be working on servicing. We don't want you to be data managing. We don't want you to be creating content. So get all of that out of the way. Delegate all of that away. The best thing for onboarding, once you've set the standards, these people are very adaptable, very intelligent. We've had great success with recruitment, and we've got some very, very talented people.
We do.
Mashallah. So what you need to do is just get them up to speed with your process.
Yeah.
And give them as much feedback as possible. They want to learn.
Yeah.
They as long as they know where to put in the effort, they're
Everyone's pretty open to feedback as well. I've seen this across the organization, 100%. Literally everyone wants to hear feedback so that they know exactly what to do. A lot of people do take the initiative to do it themselves. Don't get me wrong here. But they just want the client to tell them, all right, tell me exactly what you need so that I can over deliver on these things that you're asking me to do.
One problem that we've had is, and that's a good thing that turns into a bad thing, is you hire me, for example, and I'm doing something and it's all right.
Yeah.
And you're okay with it. You know, you have to spend 2 extra minutes on it, but then it's fine. So you let it go. But you letting it go will make me feel like I'm doing the right thing.
Yeah.
And so if you tell me how to save those 2 minutes for you, that's going to create value for you. That's going to help me improve.
Consistent feedback.
Yes. So consistent
even if it's
feedback.
The slightest thing.
That's even if it's the slightest thing. That relationship is something that's extremely encouraged. And speaking of relationship, the other most important thing is that if I'm working for you, you're my client, I need to feel like I'm a part of your team, because these are very talented individuals and they're assets, and they could be utilized for the tasks that you need taken off your plate.
Yeah.
But that's a start. If given the opportunity, these people could bring so much value, and we've seen that. We've seen that happen
day in, day out. I think so. There's a very, very, very talented associate, Filza. I think so. Huge shout out to Filza. I hope we have her on the podcast soon, because she's done tremendous things for her client. So much so that her client was willing to offer their services for free to Savvital and their employees. So it's made a very nice win-win sort of relationship and stuff. With quality assurance and making sure everyone's up to speed, everyone is a superstar. Internally within Savvital, what's the training department consistently doing the best?
That's such a great way to circle back. That's so impressive. This guy.
I appreciate
this
that.
guy. So yes, so we were talking about what we do, and so preparing them, that's one thing. And then we've got now, I was the 13, but now we've got more than 150 to 200 people working in different companies around the US. So we got such a big pool. And a lot of clients have been relying on us for data. If you're switching over to EasyLinks, we've got 50 people working on EasyLinks for 2 years.
So you're building a knowledge pool as well.
So we can rely on them. Yes. Me personally, I've been working in this industry for 3 years. The trainers alongside me, they're experts at what they do. So we're a support system for the associate. If they ever need help, if the client ever needs help, we're there. And we've got resources built up. We've got resources for different industries, for different software, for different tasks. So we're a good safety net.
Yeah, industries like insurance, marketing,
Insurance,
realtors as
marketing,
well, if I'm
real
not mistaken.
estate, construction. We're dabbling into accounting now.
Okay, and healthcare, is that something that we're also? I think so. That's something that we're looking to do.
Yes, we've got an understanding for healthcare. It's just the the quantity that we need to build.
Yeah.
So we've got I think 4 clients with
Okay.
healthcare.
Perfect.
So we understand the need, we understand the tasks,
So
but we need to dive into that
it's very
market more.
apparent that the clients also see the value that Savvital is bringing and the value that Savvital can provide. So if it was only in insurance, I would say, all right, it's a very successful business, it's a very successful brand, but it's not really weathered every single industry and the challenges that come in those industries. So it's very good to know, it's very reassuring to know that there's multiple agencies in different industries and they're all happy to outsource their work to Savvital.
The biggest thing is what Savvital is providing you is how I like to see it is they're an open platform for you. They're a resource. You can utilize them however you want.
Yeah.
Savvital isn't just that associate. What you're getting with Savvital is a support system behind it. You're getting their HR management being done. You're getting their in general management being done.
Yeah.
They're being given resources. They're being given everything they need to work, workspace, equipment.
You genuinely don't have to worry about
You don't
anything.
have to do anything. All you need to do is say yes.
Yeah.
And you
And watch the money come in.
and watch the money come in. You onboard. You tell your associate what you need to do, what you need them to do, and support them through the initial phases.
Yeah.
Everything else Savvital is managing for you, and there's so many things that come alongside your associate. You get a specific account manager from the very talented CS team we have, who schedule very frequent check-ins with you.
Yeah, so you got a first point of contact in case, and you obviously have their information. Like,
Yes.
whenever you need to
Readily
contact them,
available.
I need this changed, and then you guys
Absolutely.
replace it. Perfect.
If you ever need to rely on us, if you need extra support, if you need further training, if you don't have the bandwidth to train your associate on a certain task, you want us to handle that for you, your account manager. All you need to do is communicate that to them.
And then
We'll handle the
up
rest.
and running. That's honestly very
So
good.
it's everything. All you need is to just, hello, how are you? Get to work. And we'll handle the rest. So I like to think of Savvital as a sort of plug and play.
Solution to any business.
And then you plug and play to start, and then they become integral to your team because they're talented by themselves. They
I've
want to
seen
grow.
so many people, I've seen so many agents and agencies actually say that these are our team members. They're literally sending gifts from the United States, from wherever they're based, from every state in the United States and stuff.
And I think it's become a norm of them being part of the daily huddles.
Yes.
Having one-on-one meetings with everyone in the team. And that's a good part of it. That's an important part of it as well. Because of remote work, the impression being created is something that it's a tool.
Yeah.
But these people are too talented to be treated as a tool.
And I think so. Savvital has actually changed so all those people who've actually tried Savvital and their services, they've actually realized, all right, this is like hiring VPs and delegating your work is supposed to be a bit of a no-brainer. And in the industry, you have good people there as well.
Yep.
A lot of people feel like they're not skilled enough or whatever the case may be. It's not what's happening over here.
Yes.
And that's amazing.
And part of that is the vetting process that our very talented recruitment team does.
Yes.
And part of that is the superb trainers that we have here, the very talented trainers that we have here, and the support and the readiness that they provide to the associates. And then what
Balance.
it's a balance. I've got something stuck in my throat for half an hour.
I thought it was dancing stuff.
That was sort of my go away. So it's a balance of vetting the right person, already skilled, already qualified to do the job, and then giving them further resources.
Okay.
So recruitment and training sort of work in tandem like that, and they give you the best possible
That's what my
That's
man
what I
wanted
wanted
to
to
say.
say.
Perfect. Saba, so before we finish this episode, I'm going to give you the opportunity.
Mhm.
Yeah, you're obviously an AM training department, right? Do you want to give a shout out to your team? Do you want to say anything about the team? Do you want to flex? And do you want to I don't know what you want to do. This is your opportunity. Don't tell me
You
after
sure?
we're done. Don't tell me after Saad, turns off the camera that Asin, you didn't give me an opportunity. This is your moment, man. You've got 20 seconds.
The more I know Saad, and knowing Saad, he's probably gonna cut all of this. But absolutely, the biggest shout out that I could give, first of all, is the people who got me here. And it's sort of a cliche to say, but my management initially supported me so much, understood what I wanted out of this job.
Yeah.
And again, like I mentioned before, I never saw myself sticking around for this long. But the support I got, the encouragement I got, and the progression that I got, sort of,
It's been amazing.
The work I put in was reflected back to me, and that's why I stuck around. The biggest shout out would have to be to my team, of course, because we're the most talented people around. But it starts with our manager. Like you said, it's the perfect way to describe her as a one-woman machine. And running the department alone for that long and that effectively.
Yeah.
And then I joined in. I had whatever input I had.
Not whatever input. You had a lot of input and a lot of good input as well.
I'm glad people think that, and that's why I'm still here. But then we sort of picked and chose the best.
Yeah, nitpicked
the people that we added to our team, and I'm just constantly impressed by how intelligent, how talented these people are, and the insight that they bring, the value that they bring. We weren't able to dive too much into what we do as a department, but just every day they sort of surprise us with something new and something so insightful. It changes everything. And it's an exciting place to work, exciting people to work with. So the biggest shout out to them.
That's amazing. You
heard, and they are namely Sana, Paris, Arham, Asim, Saad. Cut that, please. Right now.
You can do this again, honestly.
They're
namely.
And they are namely Ussama, Sana.
Please.
And they remote and they are namely Uswa, Sana, Paris, Arham. We owe everything to you.
Guys, we took a couple of takes because somebody forgot.
Ye cut raha hai.
Yeah, we're not gonna say whose name
absolutely
you
not.
Forgot, but there was a couple of.
मैं सू कर दूंगा. क्योंकि नौकरी तो होगी नहीं मैं होगा. Sorry.
Perfect. So that's amazing. Sama, I really appreciate you taking the time from a very, very busy day. I know it's been a very busy day for you. It's been a busy day for me as well, but I really appreciate you taking the time out for us, for our viewers. Thank you for your insight. And genuinely, I say this on behalf of the whole organization. I would like to thank you from the bottom of our hearts for all the work that you're doing for us, all the hard work that all that output. It's amazing to see, and you're one of the most friendly people I've met here. This is coming straight from the heart, so I really appreciate
Making
that.
me blush.
I really appreciate that. Guys, you know what to do. You need to book or schedule a free discovery call. Get on the phone with Mo, get on the phone with whoever you need to, but just check it out. Saad, link, whatever you want to put it.
Here or here or wherever.
That's it for this episode. Thank you for watching. Till next time.